Alors, bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Jennifer Dumoulin. Je suis la coprésidente de l'Association des étudiants et étudiantes diplômés dans le département de communication. Aujourd'hui, on a notre troisième session d'hiver dans notre série d'ateliers pour les étudiants et étudiantes diplômés. Le sujet d'aujourd'hui serait la gestion du temps. My name is Jennifer Dumoulin. I am the co-president of the Communications Graduate Students Association. Welcome to the third of our workshops for graduate students in the winter semester this year. The topic is time management. Alors, je vais rapidement tourner le microphone à professeur Maria Sherba pour parler un peu plus de notre événement d'aujourd'hui. I will very quickly turn it over to Maria Sherba, who will be Professor Maria Sherba, who will be introducing and talking more about the subject for today's session. Alors, Maria, it's all yours.
Merci, Jennifer. Et bienvenue tout le monde. Bonjour. Alors, bienvenue encore à notre atelier pour les étudiants à la maîtrise et au doctorat. Donc, notre thème aujourd'hui est la gestion du temps. Et je pense que surtout pendant cette période de travail à distance, des cours en ligne, ça peut être difficile à concilier le travail et la vie personnelle. Donc, nous sommes très heureux aujourd'hui d'avoir nos invités des services de réussite scolaire pour nous en parler. Et comme toujours, n'hésitez pas à partager vos commentaires, vos questions dans le chat tout au long de la présentation. C'est un sujet qui nous touche tous, je pense. Donc, n'hésitez vraiment pas à partager vos expériences et peut-être même des stratégies aussi auxquelles vous avez pensé pour faire face à certains défis. So welcome everyone to our graduate student workshop. So our topic for today is time management, and especially during this time of remote work, online classes, it can be hard for many of us to find a balance. So we are very happy today to have an advisor from the Student Academic Success Services to discuss this topic and also think about some of the helpful strategies together. And as always, don't hesitate to put your comments, questions in the chat. I think many of us can relate to the presentation today, so don't hesitate to share your experiences during the presentation. So yeah, thanks again, Martha, for joining us today and looking forward to your talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. So welcome, bienvenue. I'm going to start by presenting myself. I am a graduate student mentor from the Graduate Student Center from SAS. And today we'll be talking about time management, gestion du temps. La présentation va être faite, la plupart va être en anglais, cependant ces slides sont en français et on a quelqu'un aussi qui est dans le chat et vous pouvez, c'est Christian. Salut Christian.
Salut.
Lui, il va répondre à toutes vos questions en français ou en anglais. Donc, vous pouvez écrire en français ou en anglais si vous voulez. Donc, merci. Et merci, Christian. Il est aussi un mentor. Christian, tu peux te présenter un peu?
Oui, bonjour tout le monde. Je suis vraiment content d'être ici. Alors, je suis conseiller au niveau du centre de rédaction à l'aide aux travaux universitaires. Je suis aussi mentor au centre de mentorat des gradués. Je suis candidat au PhD à la faculté de droit. Donc, c'est à peu près ça. Et moi, je vais me charger essentiellement du chat. Merci.
Okay, merci, Christian. So I'm going to start. I'm going to stop my video because I find I have a kind of connection problems when I keep the video on. So I don't want you to lose my voice. And so I will keep talking, but you will be able to see my slides. And I'll be here with you through my voice without the video. So thank you very much. And let's get started. Okay, so let me just share. Okay, gestion du temps. On va commencer avec une petite introduction. I will ask you if you can present yourself. You're welcome to use the chat to just tell us a little bit about yourself. And I will ask you to answer these questions. What is the most difficult thing for you to juggle with right now? Que faites-vous quand vous vous sentez surchargé? What does the idea work-life balance mean to you? You can share this on the chat, or maybe you can just answer this to yourself. I will start answering these questions myself. I'm not just mentoring the Graduate Student Center. I am also a PhD student in the Faculty of Social Science in the Department of Criminology. So I can relate to these struggles of work-time balance. So what is the most difficult thing that I'm juggling with right now? Well, I think is just to have several small jobs like research assistants or TAs while doing my thesis. Que faites-vous quand vous vous sentez surchargé? Je pense que j'ai commencé à changer un peu la façon de faire face à ce genre de défis. Auparavant, j'avais pas vraiment des habitudes très balanced. Donc, mais maintenant, je pense que ce que je fais pour quand je me sens un peu surchargée ou stressée, je fais de la méditation. Donc, j'essaie de faire ça et j'essaie aussi de courir. J'aime bien courir pour me sentir un peu plus tranquille. And what does the ideal work-life balance mean to you? Well, to me, it's just a place where I can actually have the time, not just to work, but also to, at the end of the day, to just be quiet with myself or just have time to relax. So I'm gonna go to your answers here on the chat. Let's see what you say. Most difficult thing, making sure I do some relaxing, creating the things and not just work. Yeah, definitely. The most difficult thing to juggle for me right now is squeezing in the physical activity. I know, as a former runner, competitive runner, try to get back into it. Yeah. Work and school assignments. The most difficult thing for me is not to focus only in work and also include exercise. Yeah, I think that's thank you very much for sharing. I think that's those are the most difficult elements to find balance with. Just stop working and say, okay, I'm going to relax right now. Thank you so much for sharing. So what are the learning objectives from this workshop? The first one is to identify your own particular time wasters and adopt strategies for reducing them. Second, we're going to talk about comment clarifier et prioriser vos objectifs en ajustant la planification de votre temps. Then we're going to talk about how to adopt appropriate strategies for dealing with interruptions and anything else which may steal your time. Then, on va parler de utiliser des techniques d'organisation du travail. Et finalement, we are going to talk about choose assertive responses to different time management situations. Okay, so let's keep going. So our agenda today, first we're going to start with a brainstorm, and we're going to ask you to think of an unbalanced workload experience and a balanced workload experience. Then we're going to talk about how to achieve and maintain a work-life balance through establishing your priorities, and we're going to see something that is called the wheel of life, and we're going to talk about different elements of this wheel, which is friends, social life, family, spirit, and health. And finally, we're going to tackle time management, talking about some strategies, how to achieve and maintain balance, how to set smart goals for yourself, fight against procrastination, and we're going to conclude with some work-life balance advices in general. So now, balance is the key to success. It is very important to know that the goal is not to fill our schedules with the most number of activities, but to make sure that the things that need to get done are actually done. So all of this is, of course, your individual choice. You get to decide what what you need to maintain productivity and efficiency in your daily life. So let's talk about what is the ideal work-life balance for you. Okay, so sorry, before we talk, so what would be, can you please share on the chat what would look like une vie équilibrée, work-life balance for you? This example I give you. Let me see the chat. Procrastination between personal and work-life balance refers to the level of prioritization between personal and professional activities in an individual's life and the level to which activities related to their job are present in the home. Yes. There's the idea work-life balance for me requires more hours in a day. Yeah, that would be perfect, but unfortunately, we cannot buy more hours in supermarket. We will all like to, so we just need to learn how to handle the 24 hours we have in a day. Work-life balance means getting to do a little bit of everything, having social and personal life while moving forward professional and academic priorities. Yes, you're right. That is right. So let's go to our next slide. So let's start brainstorming in an unbalanced workload experience. So let's think first of those moments we have been through, but we don't like. So on your own, make a list of words that describe how you felt when you were going through an unbalanced workload experience. Maybe you felt out of control, stressé, paniqué. Once you rewrote that, think about how people and work at work, or maybe your family, would have described you. What adjectives do you think they would have used to describe you while you were going through this period of an unbalanced time of your life? So if you want to share on the chat some of the words that maybe you would use, or that you felt, or that other people used to describe how you looked during that time. Personally, me, in my case, my family, when I'm going through an unbalanced period of my life, they describe me as grumpy. So I get like very grumpy, and yeah. So Diane, rush, preoccupied, not present. Thank you very much. I don't know if somebody else wants to share. Grumpy is me too. Thank you. Okay. So now let's be a little bit more detailed. Let's think about how did the unbalanced event start. Focus on one experience, only to track the timeline of events. You can also think about the actions that you have taken to get to that point. Well, what was this external event? Did you have any signs of the onset of the event? You just think about it. Think how everything started, and you can keep it for yourself. Just have this in mind. So now let's do a balanced workload experience. So similar to what you did with the unbalanced experience, make a list of words that describe how you felt through the balanced workload experience. Were you content, calm, happy? And also think about how people at work would have described you, or maybe your family. What adjectives do you think they would have used? And can you please share that? Much nicer to be around during a balanced experience, friendly, positive, fun. Yeah, thank you. Like I was really enjoying my free time. Yeah, thank you, Louise. Yeah, I will say in my case too, my colleagues and family, they say I look way happier and more relaxed. Donc, est-ce que vous pouvez penser comment cette expérience d'équilibre a-t-elle commencé? Vous vous souvenez de ça? Qu'est-ce que vous avez fait? So you can write this down for yourself. Just to, this is more an exercise that will help you to assess your own experiences and identify behaviors that are repeated in your day-to-day organization and planning. And also it help you, this kind of exercise help to be aware of how you respond to balance and unbalanced events, and is a good start to develop strategies for improvement. So you just have to be, first of all, every change start just with the having the conscience that something is going on, and how this event is started and how this event is making you feel. Okay, so let's go to our next slide. I don't know why I cannot change it. Just give me a second. Oh my God, I think I'm sorry. I think my computer froze a little bit. Okay, I think good. Okay, thanks. So based on the exercise that we just did, I'm interested to see how does the concept of control contribute to your experience of life balance. You can answer if you want to share briefly on the chat box. How does having control or the lack of it plays an important role in how you manage your response to different type of events? So can you just think about that and share a little bit of your experience with feeling that you have control? How does it help how does it help when it comes to work-life balance in your life? There's that responsibilities, and then there is out of your control. I can see here an answer. Yeah, personally, I think when it comes to control, with this concept of control, in my case, I feel that if I feel in control, I feel that I have a work-life balance style of living. However, there's a problem also with this idea of control, because sometimes there are some things that you cannot control. But we tend to think that once we are in control of everything that is around us, we will be okay. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel when you don't feel in control of your surroundings? We need to understand what we can and cannot control. Yes, thank you, Diane. Exactly. For example, in the case of research, there are some things that you can control, like for example, the amount of reading you do, and there are some other things that you cannot control, like for example, the results of a certain lab work, or maybe how many people will actually accept to give you an interview. So so we just have to keep in mind that there are certain things that we cannot control, and we will feel a little bit more balanced and more relaxed. So let's go back to, okay. Now we're going to see some strategies to achieve and maintain a life balance, okay? So a good exercise to learn how to identify and establish priorities is the wellness wheel. The wellness wheel can help you see how much priority you're giving to multiple aspects of your life. It goes from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest level and 10 the highest. As you can see, we have here different topics. We have physical health, we have mental health, relationships, recreation, finances, career, spirituality, home. So this can be like the summary of your life. you'll notice the categories, but they can also vary for everyone. It's not like you will have these, you will need to have these all the time, or you actually have these on your life all the time. But the typical ones are these ones here on this slide. Ideally, you don't want to have levels too low or too high, but instead a healthy balance. You can fill out this wheel every so often to see how you are doing and how much you can improve. What are the areas of your lives that need to be a priority at that certain moment? So just I'll give you a couple of minutes or just to look at it and answer this to yourself from 1 to 10. How good is your mental health, your relationships, recreation, finances, etc., or any other aspect or topic that you find is relevant for your own life? In my case, for instance, I can say that right now I will as I learn to balance my life better, I can say that I am probably in 7 in all these aspects. But at the beginning of my PhD, I will definitely say that the part of my let's say career or work was about a 9 and the rest were about like a 2 and 3. But learning how to balance this is also a skill that you build with time. And I find is that when you just start graduate school, it's kind of difficult to balance these aspects. But don't worry, with time and just the fact that you're here in this workshop today, it means that you are already taking action to have a better and more balanced lifestyle. So thank you for sharing. They just shared the wellness wheel on the chat. So if you want to download that and probably have it on your desk, so you can take a look at it. Yeah, sometimes, and you can actually evaluate how good you're doing on these aspects. So another way to reflect on our current state is by learning about the 5 circles of life, as you can see on this slide. I will read the original quote from where this strategy comes from. So just give me a minute, let me open it. Okay. So this quote says, imagine life as a game in which you're juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them: work, family, health, friends, and spirit. And you're keeping all of these in the air. You will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. But the other four balls, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, they will be marked, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. So when I heard this quote, it really touched me because I never thought about life like that. So it is super important not to get over consumed in work or school in this case. It comes back, this aspect of your life can wait sometimes. However, family, health, friends, and your spirit are what really matter. If you have these aspects well taken care of, if they are solid, they will definitely help you with your workload. Let's see how we can successfully integrate our professional life, whether work or school, into these most important aspects of your life, such as the elements represented in the glass balls. And before we talk about this, let me just share something that somebody shared with me about priorities. This person told me that once she was very stressed out because she had a lot of work to do. So one of her professors told her, are you giving yourself time to talk with your family, with your friends, and you know, just take care of your personal relationships. And she said, no, because I don't have time for this. And this professor told her, so if you say that you don't have time for this, it means that it's not a priority in your life and it's not important. So your family is not a priority and your health is not a priority. So she told me that the way that this professor presented this to her really changed her mindset, because she said, no, of course my family and the people I love are a priority in my life, and my health is a priority. So that every time she just wants to go back to an imbalanced lifestyle, she keeps this in mind. And when she shared this with me, that also stick in my mind, and it's something that I try to remember every time I am just going through the path of an unbalanced work lifestyle. Okay, so let's talk about these aspects. It might seem very obvious that to achieve a healthy balance, we have to maintain a good social life and relationships with our friends. However, when we are overwhelmed with many other things happening around us, it is very difficult to socialize with others. Some good strategies that can help you with this and help you preserve your friendships. It's just keep in touch, try to keep in touch with your friends and family through friendly messages or calls, especially now that it's harder to meet people face to face. You don't have to get in touch with every single person you know, but maybe you can try with just your closest friends. So diversify the topics of conversation, ask about their projects, their families, maybe the TV shows they're watching at that moment. And you can also share your own struggles. Just talking about how overwhelmed or stressed you feel helps a lot. Also, you have to show them that you can empathize with them, and they will empathize with you too. However, it is just as important to manage our expectations when we are socializing. Sometimes we think that for us to maintain friendships, we have to be in touch 24/7, or that we all have to engage in the same level. And that is not always the case. And a lot of it depends on how close we are with a person. Sometimes we have those friends that we have known for ages, and we just talk to them once a month, and it's okay. The friendship is still good. So it really depends on each person. So you can also try to combine activities. Maybe now it's kind of hard to train or study with friends, but you can make plans to visit a restaurant whenever it's appropriate and it's allowed, that you like in the future, or go hiking during the summer. In my case, I myself struggle a lot to find topic of conversations that go beyond checking in with friends. But there's multiple ways. For example, you can send a meme, a video that you find that reminds you of your conversation that you had before. So this helps a lot not to lose the connections. You can also take a break from school or work activities, watch that movie you've been putting behind, read a few pages of your book, of the book you bought, but you actually never opened. You can also try to create new hobbies. Think about the activities you always wanted to do and never had enough time to do them. Try to integrate these activities little by little, these hobbies little by little. You don't need to integrate them completely, but maybe if you wanted to start painting, you can just give yourself 20 minutes to paint, and like that you will relax and just forget about work for a little bit. Something that I also find that helps when I'm overwhelmed with work, I put in my calendar specific dates or days that I know that I am a little bit more free. So on those days, I call a friend that I have not talked for a long time. So I just give myself maybe 30 minutes to talk with this person, but I have it in my calendar. And so I will not forget, and I will plan ahead, and I will not find excuses not to do it. So when we talk about family, we are also thinking of those who live in your same household. Living with someone also requires to be thoughtful of each other. So in the case you have roommates, so try to enjoy the little everyday moments without waiting only for the big events to be in company of your loved ones. If you don't live with your family, call them or text them, even if it's only to share something that happened to you during the day, being happy or sad. This always helps. I often send pictures to my family of the new recipes that I cooked. So those little things go a long way. And it's just a nice moment to share. You can do this with other type of activities that you enjoy doing. Always keep in mind to manage the expectations of your family and roommates, just like with your friends. Ask them to respect established work schedule. Let them know when you need a silent environment to work or when you prefer not to be interrupted. This will avoid conflicts and stressful situations too. They will not what to expect from you and vice versa. And as a final reminder, keep in mind that each person creates their own path to success. And that additional responsibilities are not incompatible with this achievement. It's always about integrating multiple things that are important to us. So, spirit. Some strategies that you can adopt to improve your spirit could be journaling, to give you a sense of perspective and awareness of your feelings, and it helps to connect to yourself. I myself recently got into journaling again. I don't write every day, but often enough to keep a specific notebook for it. I write down thoughts that I don't share with my family or friends necessarily, so it's a good way for me to avoid locking down feelings. You don't need lots of time to do it. I normally write something down on the weekends or whenever I'm not too excited to work on my thesis or to-do lists. So you can practice also some meditation. It's something I personally do too. This helps to stay calm, clear-headed, and it also improves concentration a lot. I can tell you that at the beginning, I just started with 2 minutes of meditation. It's very difficult to keep concentrated and not to think about of a lot of different aspects of your life the moment you're trying to meditate. However, once you get to the point where you can actually be there for 5 minutes just sitting without thinking and just being focusing on your breath, you will realize how much it will help you when you're reading or just focusing on your work or your thesis. If you practice any religion or faith, prayer can be a great medium to promote feelings of gratitude, compassion, and also hope. Lots of people find comfort in faith and engaging in religious activities with others. Yoga can also be a good exercise that you may practice. Just remember not to push yourself to be positive or calm all the time. You can do these activities, but you don't have to feel stressed about the fact that you're not happy and calm. So it's not about erasing feelings or of frustration, sadness, or anger. It's about recognizing that we are going through a hard time and that we have tools to improve our situation and be in control of our feelings. Will these slides be made available? Yeah, we'll be more than glad to share them with you. Okay, health. To maintain a healthy and balanced lifestyle, we can work on 3 basic aspects: eating, sleeping, and exercising. I know that this is an aspect that a lot of you may struggle with, and you just mentioned that on the chat box before. Again, it's not about radically changing your current routines, but adjusting certain things to achieve a good balance. So eat well. To do this, prepare your meals for the week. That is a very good advice that I received a long time ago, and I've been practicing, and it helps a lot because it helps to it gives you the chance to eat healthy even when you are busy. Because I know there are some days that we're super tired, and the last thing we want to do is come back home and start cooking. So the only thing you want to do is just call Uber Eats or skip the dishes or whatever these services, so they can just give you a huge pizza and a hamburger. That's the only thing you want to do. So if you meal prep, if you prepare your food before, you will be able to just go to your house and you just open the fridge and you know that you will have healthy food there. Take your time to eat and keep a schedule for all your meals. This is important. Your overall health will benefit a lot from eating at the right times. I can say by firsthand experience that doing my best to eat at certain hours every day made me feel less bloated and less sleepy all the time too. So it works. So I've been there where there's a time of my life where I was just eating a lot of junk food because I had no time to or energy to go back home and eat and cook. But when I start planning my meals and planning cooking every Sunday and meal prep and keep some food in my fridge all the time, I just really felt a change in my levels of energy. So another aspect too that is important is sleep well. Keep a routine for when you go to bed and when you wake up. Avoid checking work and school emails or other information right before going to bed or right before waking up, because these can really affect your sleep, and it can also affect your mood the moment you're waking up. Just give it an hour, take your breakfast or do exercise or whatever routine you have in the morning before you start checking your emails. So it's just about giving your mind time to adjust and to rest. In that way you can avoid unnecessary stressors. It's really about the quality of your sleep time. When it comes to physical exercise, you can choose what best accommodates to your living conditions. Try taking regular walks around your neighborhood or in the closest park. Right now we're very close to spring, so even when it's cold outside, you can still benefit from a little walk, and sometimes a little walk, it really helps with ideas when it comes about when you're writing your thesis or a paper and you feel stuck. Just going outside for a little walk will clear your mind. Another thing you can do is, for example, if you work with the Pomodoro technique where you work 25 minutes and you rest 5 minutes, and every 4 Pomodoros you take a break of 15 minutes. During these breaks, you can just have a little walk even around your office and just a stretch. This is just a great way to keep your body active. Okay. So now, how do you respond to all these different moving elements and stay on top of work at the same time? How do we avoid becoming overconsumed by these new demands to achieve balance? Some strategies. The first one, a good way to start managing time is to make a schedule. You've probably heard this before and have been told that this is a logical strategy, but reality is that it's not so easy to think about planning all the time. So when you think about scheduling, start by daily planning, then move to weekly planning, and when you feel much more confident, you can think about monthly plans. The key is to find something that you can handle and that does not overwhelm you. Otherwise, you won't get into the habit. You can keep an updated schedule in an agenda, a bullet journal, your cell phone, or physical notebook, or planning apps. It's something visual works better. Keep it in your desk or close to your computer. I personally use these very cheap notebooks that are sold in the dollar store, and it's just like a weekly planning, and I just fill them out. That's what I personally use. But I have to say that it could be pretty challenging trying to get into consistent scheduling. I still have a lot of work to do for my thesis, and I have a part-time job, and there's a lot I juggle with, but it's not impossible to do. So I get very stressed very often, actually. And now that I am in the final stages of my PhD, it's I can't avoid I can't avoid dealing with anxiety and worries about the future. So it's a lot to deal with, and I'm sure it's not easy for you at all. I think you identify with these feelings too. But the key to keeping a routine is to start small, to recognize your needs and use the strategies that will work for you. So sticking to your own schedule is not easy. I also get frustrated all the time because I wrote something that I wasn't able to accomplish that day or to finish. So I have to remind myself that I can always start again. That if the plan that I had for this week or that day didn't work, I can rewrite another one for the next day or the next week and try again and see what's unnecessary. And that's why I work on the exercises we did at the beginning. They are very useful because we need to learn about ourselves first, not to feel overwhelmed and not to feel disappointed with ourselves when we're not able to finish everything that we said we were going to finish. So now going to time management strategies. Some extra strategies will be to establish and some priorities, some goals for a specific period of time. This will help you determine if you would be if it would be best to plan daily, weekly, or monthly. If you develop a program for the semester, you will have to include the information of your classes, your thesis, and work. So you can write down as many details as you can. For example, classes, the deadlines for submissions or assignments or presentations that you have for these classes. About another section could be your thesis, deadlines for research proposal, recruitment, writing, and another aspect that you can organize is work. Where you will find sections, you can have sections for corrections, for example, if you are proctor or teaching. If you prefer weekly plans, organize your time accordingly. Update all the things you have to accomplish every weekend, and don't be afraid of including activities that are not a priority. It will help you distribute your time better. Every so often, review and revise your plan. Are you making progress? Are your deadlines realistic? What unexpected tasks did you have to include? These questions will help you to make changes that suit you better. I will give you my example. I tried to plan also my month at the beginning of the month. I just started that, and then I revised the activities that I have done right in the middle of the month to see if I was able to accomplish it or if I have to make changes to my month. And I try to not feel bad. For example, I planned some things for this month, but I had an unexpected activity to do for this month. So I know that this month I have to change a little bit the plans that I had before, but it's okay because I know that sometimes things don't go as planned. But these specific monthly plans and also weekly plans that I have helped me to also be aware of certain patterns and the things that I can change or improve. Now, another strategy that is very important is to learn to say no. Working on time management strategies also implies this. It implies learning how to say no. Sometimes we accept lots of responsibilities at work and school that saturate our schedules, and therefore we can never complete. Just think about your communication style to open when you want to decline activities or responsibilities you cannot deal with at the moment. You have to remember we're not superheroes, so to achieve a good balance, we need to set boundaries and be kind to ourselves with the kind of work we put forward. Work on being direct when you communicate with others. Being passive or aggressive will only create a stressful environment for you and for others. This can be very, very, very difficult sometimes. And from personal experience, I can tell you I had a lot of difficulty saying no. But I needed to learn to do it at a certain point of my life because I was taking a lot of activities in that were that I enjoyed and that I would have loved to complete, but they were taking a lot of time from my biggest priority, which is my thesis. So even though I feel like a little bit bad when I have to say no, I still do it, and I would recommend you to do it. Recently, I can tell you that I have a very, 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 very good friend who asked me if I wanted to do some presentations for a seminar, and I wanted it, but I had to say no because when I took a look at my schedule, I was not going to be able to complete this task. And even though she's a very, very good friend of mine, I told her, sorry, I'm very, very busy. And actually she responded quite good. So sometimes we're just afraid that they will get mad with us, but believe me, people will not get mad with you because they will understand that you're busy, because these people, they are also busy too. So once you start saying no, believe me, it will be easier with time, but you have to start saying no. Okay. A good exercise to establish priorities is this matrix that you see on the slide. It's called the Eisenhower matrix. So you can divide activities by urgency and the importance of the results in 4 different quadrants, as you can see: important et urgent, important mais non urgent, non important mais urgent, non important et non urgent. I have this on my office. I have it in like a blackboard that I divided in 4. So the first quadrant is called do first and focuses on activities. It focuses on activities that need to be done today and tomorrow at the latest. This could be important documents or maybe assignments due on the same day. The second quadrant is schedule. It contains important tasks, but less urgent in comparison to the first one. This could be readings for your classes next week or upcoming events. The better you get at managing your time, you will have fewer things planned, and most of your daily work will be in the second quadrant. This could reduce stress by completing urgent and important to-dos to a reasonable pace and avoiding also last-minute crisis. The third quadrant is for those tasks that you could delegate, as they are less important to you than others, but they are still urgent. An example of a delegated task could be somebody calling you to ask for an urgent favor. You could delegate by giving the caller the necessary information to have them deal with the matter themselves. The fourth and the last quadrant is called don't do, because it is there to help you sort out things you should not be doing at all. This can help you discover and stop bad habits, like using too much social media, having like a 30-40 minute Facebook or Instagram break or YouTube break. Also, if you're like gaming too much, if you like gaming, this quadrant is for things that give you an excuse for not being able to deal with important tasks in the first and the second quadrant. This can also be the impulse to go clean your house when you have to write a paper. That has happened to me a lot. Every time you want to use this matrix, you can think about where do you spend most of your time. and make wise choices. Are you most in the first quadrant, the second, the third? So you can just think about that. Okay, now let's talk about set smart goals for yourself. So the first is be specific with the S. So state exactly what you want to accomplish, who, what, when, where, and why. You can make a list about this. The second one, make your goals measurable. How will you demonstrate and evaluate the extent to which the goal has been met? The first one, it's achievable. Set short-term goals that you can merge in your schedule. That sense of achievement and at the end will motivate you to set new goals. Then you have to be realistic. Set goals that you are willing to work hard for. Think about the circumstances that will get you to finish to the finish line. And the last one, time bound. Set one or more target dates to guide your goal to successful and for a successful and timely completion. You have to include deadlines and dates and frequency too. So on this is next slide. There's a little exercise. For the following goals, are they smart? If not, why? If the goal is not smart, how would you make it smart? So you have here these goals. Try to answer. You can share on the chat, or you can just do it by yourself. So the first one is have a first author paper, finish 1,000 experiments by tomorrow, be good at doing columns, write the intro to the manuscript, and finish my degree. Are these the smart goals or not for you? So for instance, if we only 4 might be, yeah, thank you, Meredith. Not at all, yeah. Yes, you should, only 4 might be is a smart goal. A first author paper, it could be, but in the long run, 1,000 experiments by tomorrow, I don't think so. That's impossible. Be good at doing columns. That's something that's achievable, but it's not smart because it's too broad. Finish my degree, yes, but how? So yes, as Meredith said, 4 might be. Okay. Another aspect for working smart is avoiding procrastination. It's the day before, and maybe you will feel you will feel like you've been in this situation. It's the day before or hours before your deadline, and the clock is ticking. You are working furiously to complete the task while silently crushing yourself for not starting it sooner. How did you get to this point? What went wrong? Why did you lose your focus? Well, there were the hours that you spent rereading emails and maybe checking social media, this excessive preparation, the coffee breaks that you have every 20 minutes, and the time spent on other tasks that you could have safely left for next week, maybe cleaning your house, as I said before. Sounds familiar? I think it sounds familiar for everybody because if so, you're not alone. Procrastination is a trap that many of us fall into. In fact, according to research, 95% of us procrastinate to some degree. And yes, this includes your professors and supervisors. While it may be comforting to know that you're not alone, it can be sobering to realize just how much it can hold you back. Am I being lazy? You may ask to yourselves. Procrastination is often confused with laziness, but they are very different. Procrastination is an active process. You choose to do something else instead of the task that you know you should be doing. In contrast, laziness suggests apathy and inactivity. Procrastination usually involves ignoring an unpleasant but likely more important task in favor of one that is more enjoyable and easier. But giving into this impulse can have serious consequences. For example, even minor episodes of procrastination can make us feel guilty or ashamed, and it can lead us to reduced productivity and cause us to miss out on achieving our goals. So some steps to stop procrastinating is, first one, recognize that you're procrastinating. You might be putting off a task because you've had to reestablish your priorities, the priorities of your workload. If you're briefly delaying an important task for a genuinely good reason, then you aren't necessarily procrastinating. However, if you start to put things off indefinitely or switch focus because you want to avoid doing something, then you probably are. So try to recognize these patterns. The step 2, work out why you are procrastinating. You need to understand the reasons why you are doing that before you can begin to tackle it. For instance, are you avoiding a particular task because you find it boring or unpleasant? If so, take steps to get it out of the way quickly so that you can focus on the aspects of your job that you find more enjoyable. And it's always easier to start doing the most difficult or unpleasant task. It's recommended to do it at the very, very beginning of the process. Step 3, adopt anti-procrastination strategies. Procrastination is a habit, a deeply ingrained pattern of behavior. This means that you probably can't break it overnight. Habits only stop being habits when you avoid practicing them. So try as many of these strategies that I'm going to present to give yourself the best possible chance of succeeding. The first one is forgive yourself for procrastinating in the past. Some studies show that self-forgiveness can help you to feel more positive about yourself and reduce the likelihood of procrastination in the future. Also, commit to the task. Focus on doing, not avoiding. Write down the tasks that you need to complete and specify the time for doing them. This will help a lot. And you can also promise yourself a reward. If you complete a difficult task on time, reward yourself with a treat, such as slice of cake, if you like that, or a coffee from your favorite coffee shop, or maybe an episode of your favorite TV show. And make sure you notice how good it feels to finish things. And finally, self-monitoring. You can download an app that will help you stay focused, and that can also help you identify if you're procrastinating and how much you are doing so. There are several apps for this. I use one that is called Focus To Do, that it helps with the Pomodoro technique too. Oh, I cannot change the slide. What happened? I changed the slide. Sorry guys for that, but I cannot change it. I don't know why. So there's a TED Talk, but because we are running out of time, we're not gonna see it together. However, I'm gonna copy paste the link on the chat box, so you will have you will be able to watch it on your own. It's very interesting. It's how to change your mindset to deal with stress and with heavy workloads. So please go ahead and take a look at it. I will copy paste it right now on the chat box if you want to look at it later on. Let me see, where's the chat? Here it is. Okay. Okay. Now, to finish our workshop today, we're just going to resume a little bit what we talked about. Here is on our last slide. So find the habits and priorities that work best for you. Trouvez les habitudes et les priorités qui vous conviennent le mieux selon votre personnalité et vos préférences. Évaluer votre propre situation et déterminer dans quel domaine se situent vos besoins pressants, peut-être sécurité, vie sociale, spiritualité. L'équilibre part de vous. Soyez prêt à le maintenir en prenant attention à vos propres besoins de façon constante. Faites des plans. Assurez-vous d'avoir des objectifs tout en vous réservant du temps pour les imprévus et la spontanéité. Assurez-vous d'être satisfait de votre mode de vie. C'est vous qui êtes au centre de votre propre équilibre. Et n'oubliez pas de manger, de dormir, de bouger, de vous hydrater et aussi de vous reposer, même si vous n'en ressentez pas les besoins. Vous serez plus productif si vous prenez en fait soin de vous. Soyez sélectif dans vos choix. Travailler plus et travailler mieux ne sont pas synonymes. Okay. Si vous avez besoin de plus de ressources, you can check these web pages, the Altitude Professional Development Program. En fait, Christian a déjà présenté beaucoup des ateliers dans ces programmes Altitude. They have a lot of nice workshops. You can go to the Career Development Center. We have the mental health and wellness programs. You can come and talk to us, to a graduate student mentor. You can make an appointment through academic GPS. If you need to talk about work-life balance of any other aspect, maybe imposter syndrome or supervisor relationship, you can just make an appointment and talk to us en français ou en anglais. You have the self-help services too, and some other resources here like the distress center. Those are services that are outside the graduate student mentoring center. And before we go, I just wanted to invite you to our writing workshops. They're every Thursday, so you can come and share with other students while you write your thesis or probably a paper. And here we work with the Pomodoro technique, so you can just find a space where you can share remotely with other students while you work. So thank you so much. I will copy paste the link to these writing workshops on the chat if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martha. Merci, Martha, pour votre très utile présentation. Thank you, Maria and Meredith, for organizing and attending these sessions today. And thank you, Christian, for moderating. Merci à tout le monde aussi pour avoir assisté. On va mettre les vidéos en ligne ainsi que le PowerPoint que Martha a utilisé. Our next event is our last one of the semester. It's going to be in April on the topic of knowledge mobilization, and we'll have more details about that coming out by email. Alors, notre dernier événement de l'année serait en avril sur le sujet de la mobilisation des connaissances, et on va envoyer des invitations sous peu.